Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today, and this story is about prison news and also a follow-up to a story that we did about a month ago. Sam Walker was convicted at Durham Crown Court and sentenced to 18 months after he admitted a string of offences, including conspiracy to commit criminal damage. He has been made subject of a decade-long restraining order that prevents him from contacting 10 prison officers. On November the 20th, the court was told that Walker had caused trouble at HMP Manchester, that was also known as Strangeways, and threatened officers, and also at HMP Durham, soon after he was transferred. Walker from Liverpool, and they said they blamed him for organising the incident that happened on a staff car park at Strangeways prison, where £6,000 worth of damage was caused. The court passed a Criminal Behaviour Order, a CBO, and it means that Walker for the next 10 years could not knowingly contact any prison officer involved in the incident. And if he breaches this order, he could be jailed again. I recently discovered that he's expected to be released from prison this February, and he's got an interview with James English lined up as well. But in relation to the story that we covered when we reacted to this news and also explained what Sam's story was about, Sam actually reacted to this on his own YouTube channel, and this is the little snippet from that, so don't forget to go and subscribe to his channel as well.
What's happening, people? It's Sam. I wasn't even going to do this recording, but obviously I was given an extra 18 months on my sentence the other day, as some of you already know, and the media didn't publish my side of the story. All they give us a one version side of the truth, of their truth, not my truth. Now the truth is, these officers, right, yeah, my friends did come up and smash the cars in front of Strangeways jail. Yes, I did assault a prison officer, right, but the truth is that these officers were being violent and aggressive towards me. So my friends have reacted outside and I've reacted inside. Right? Whether you agree with that, whether you think that that's right or wrong, is down to opinion. But these officers want to start acting aggressive and violent towards prisoners. And then when we respond, they want to start trying to play the victim. This is what they do. Right? This is what they do. As a result, I've been given the extra 18 months, which I'll happily do. I've spent, the past 2.5 years in jail now. I'm out in 3 months, but as I said, I just want to get my point side across. Now, there's a guy called on YouTube called the Scarcity Studios. He done a video about it. I'm going to attach his video to the end of this, right? It's fair and balanced what he put, but he didn't put my side, so I'm going to attach it to this recording. Stay tuned for more videos. I'll be home in about 9 weeks. See you later.
He released footage of having a conversation with people from Sierra Leone, from the village that he helped to provide water supplies for. So he's actually still in communication with the people there, and I believe that he plans to go back there in the future and continue to do the good work that he's done.
Happy New Year, and I'm so much happy. They just made my New Year's a blessing word. Did you get that money what we sent over to you as well, yeah? Yeah, I did. And I said, so plenty thanks. Yeah, I did. I received it, and I said, thanks a lot. Like, you just made the holiday was so boring. Like, I was having nothing. There was nothing on me. So when it happened, it just made everything simple for me.
Oh, good. And that's all I wanted, mate, as well. Yeah. As long as you and your family had a good Christmas, then that's all I wanted. Like, I was sat to myself thinking, I need to send James some money. So, I just had the urge to see that, because I just want to make sure that you and your family have a nice Christmas. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we did.
But the update in relation to this story, footage that he'd actually put on his YouTube channel, and for the record, they do say that Sam Walker is the first high security category A prisoner to have a YouTube channel and actually document some of his time in prison.
In fact, here's one now, in fact, yeah.
What's this?
Look.
Nonce killer.
This is this is a guy, right, who killed a fucking nonce. What did you do, lad?
I burnt him in his house.
What's your name on YouTube? On fucking
Danny Martin, aka Nonce Killer. But yeah, look, and watch me.
Yeah, so it is a guy here, right? Do us a favour, like, keep clock outside for us. Just to make sure no screws come, lad, yeah?
There was a recorded audio of a conversation with a prison guard that goes allegedly by the name of Anderson. We are still trying to get the confirmation from the prison upon the prison guard's dismissal, but we have it from several sources that this prison officer has lost his job due to this audio. The prison officer is heard explaining that he regularly chokes prisoners and that he enjoys it. He states that he does it several times a week, 2 to 3 times a week, and this is actually caught on a mobile phone that was recording at the time.
This next recording you're going to hear is of a prison officer bragging about choking a prisoner today. Right, it's the 29th of November, right, it's 11:45 today on D-Wing in Leeds. A prison officer who goes by the name of Anderson, right, had been choking a prisoner. So how this happened is, this Asian lad's been on the floor, officers have had his arms pinned to the floor. It's right in view of a camera, right, let me just look, I'm just looking at my cell now, I was outside my cell. Cell 35 and 36, that camera on D-Wing, on the 2's landing, has picked it up. The officers had this Asian lad pinned to the floor, and this officer Anderson leaned over him, put both his thumbs, put his hands around his neck and put both his thumbs over his Adam's apple and started choking him. Now grabbed this officer by the scruff of his neck and pulled him off. So the confrontation between me and the other officers over it tell me not to get involved. Obviously I've said I'm not going to stand by and let an officer choke a prisoner when you see what happened to that George Floyd in America when he died of being choked by a police officer. And again, you've got a prison officer, a white prison officer. I don't mean to bring a race card into it, but it can't be avoided. A white prison officer choking an Asian brother on the floor, and literally he was going white. He's Asian and he's going white. He's just literally just being choked. So I pulled this officer off. Then I thought, okay, well, how am I meant to? This officer's just going to deny him. It's all on camera, but he's still going to deny him. So I called him into the cell. So I've got my girlfriend's recorder, and I've left the prison phone on the side so he can listen, right? And he's being recorded. This prison officer, as you hear on this recording, he's being recorded, and you can hear him bragging. At first, he denied he choked the prisoner. Then he's saying he put his hands around his neck, but either side of his Adam's apple, which again it was right over his windpipe, but he eventually admitted then, says he likes to choke people. And then he says the prisoner should have died along them lines. Right, so listen to this recording. As the truth of what happens in prison, what these prison officers get away with all the time, violence against prisoners, but then they want to play the victim all the time. And the truth is that a lot of these officers are just as violent as the prisoners. Not all of them, but some of them. So stay tuned, listen to this recording, and then you'll see the truth.
Did I get a right up for that before? No. Yeah. That's what I was like, we don't get a right up, we back off. Yeah. If you stand there around giving a toss, then someone's going to go like, you know what, fuck it off. Yeah, because at the end of the day, there's no, like, obviously, this honestly conversation we had before, that's why I was saying, like, I couldn't just stand there and see a fucking prisoner being fucking choked. So obviously I can't just stand there and like... Well, what I'm saying is... Yeah. You only get a right up if you're a cunt. Yeah, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if you stand there fucking arguing, you're like, come on then, I'll go like... Yeah. Then obviously you're going to get dropped and all, like, do you know what I mean? Well, yeah. Well, that's the problem. That's the problem I had with the officer before when he said about being restrained. And obviously, if then he gets into all the fucking rigmarole of like, what happened in Strangeways, then we're like, what's the Italian? And that's the last thing that was, because I'm one of them prisoners where I'll sit there and I'll plot. And then I get on the phone and fucking things happen. I don't want it to go down that road. I mean, I want to keep my head down. But obviously, when I'm seeing a prisoner being choked, then I'm going to put a card. He wasn't being choked. Mate, he was fucking choked. He was fucking... Come on. I know you can't admit it, obviously. No. Trust me. I choke people 3 or 4 times a week. Yeah. I enjoy choking people. Yeah. Right? You enjoy choking people? I got a fetish for choking people. Yeah, you piece of shit. I'm not getting choked now. It's happening with my fucking hobby. I'm like, fucking help me. Hey, you fucking piece that couldn't even stop before. You had his hands pinned down, you're fucking choking the life out of him. But to be fair though, like, that's the only reason why I stepped into it. I thought the other kid would fucking die. No. I didn't have his windpipe. Yeah, it looked like he had his windpipe. No. The side of his windpipe. Right, then there. Yeah. full, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. But the way he was going, I thought, yeah, and that's the only reason why I thought, yeah, I've got to sort of fucking with you because I thought, hang on, for normal procedure, I understand that I've been in jail 2.5 years. I've seen it many times where prisoners assaulted staff and staff assaulted prisoners. Obviously, standard procedure when a prisoner's getting tripped up before we're digging on them. I'd do the same if I was a prisoner officer. Standard, isn't it? But do you know the Hicks and Gracie is? No. And Hicks and Gracie. You know the USC? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right, so the Gracies used to do the Gracie challenge. Yeah. So they got a media check, right? Yeah. So basically, they used to go into dojos and shit and go around 10 grand, stick a little inside it, and they'll smash you, right? Yeah. So, Hicks and Gracie was one of their sons, right? Yeah. And he wanted to say, if I fight for money, I'll stop when the rest tells me to stop. Yeah. If I fight for pride, then fuck you, I'm stopping when I want to stop. Yeah, right? Yeah. And that's kind of the way I look at rap. I never ever instigate rap. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. All prisoners being restrained, yeah. No, that's what I mean. But if a prisoner in my fucking face, or he legs it like that, you fucking ran away. You know what I mean? Oh, when you want this. Yeah. The thing is, I've got two choices, right? I can run this tackle in which case going straight into that post. Yeah. And I thought, I don't fancy that. So I started looking, went for his back in a fucking rear naked choke. And as I went for the rear naked choke, some cunt hit me from the side, and then I fallen on my side, and then my leg's stuck, and I was like, you fucking, you're going to chew my wallet. Like, fuck off, you're going to chew my wallet. Yeah, that's like, literally, from my angle, all I seen was the officers had all the legs. Right, what you got to remember is, and then, when you're in that scenario, I ain't looking for other officers. No, of course I'm thinking of my own wallet. You get what I'm saying? I've seen the UFC movies on this, to be fair. These are where you choke them, got behind them and pull the neck up. I got it. But the only reason I got involved was when I seen the fucking iron around his neck pushed on his windpipe. I thought, yeah, fuck that, mate. You can't do that. I was a good question of this thing. No, you're nothing. I was close. You can pull through it. But come down to legs. You know what's painful? Yeah. There, and it is on the neck. Yeah, but come down to legs restrained. And when I seen all his windpipe, your arms around his shoulder, I thought, fucking hell, you're going to kill him. It wouldn't have been a loss to society. Yeah, it wouldn't have been a loss to society, you're right there, yeah. I'm going to get this down. Sorry, mate, see you in a bit. There you are.
Very rare and also unheard of sort of bit of information. It's very hard to have got information about a prison guard admitting to committing offences. That is recorded. So if the prison do contradict anything on this, we'd definitely give an update on it. But as it stands right now, the prison guard that admitted to choking prisoners has been sacked. So as I said, Sam Walker is expected to be released in February, and I wish him all the best on his release and for everything he's got planned in the future. And in some other news as well, in an update from prison, a man from Northamptonshire has been jailed after a disguised £40,000 worth of spice, which is a synthetic drug that has a terrible effect on the streets. This is the zombie drug that has got people standing up, sleeping in town centres. Jay Coles was arrested at his Northampton home after the 4 plastic bottles arrived at HMP Wayland in Norfolk in September of 2020. The illicit content was found and the investigation was launched to identify where they came from. CCTV footage and postal tracking numbers ultimately proved that Coles had involvement. The 26-year-old, formerly from Playdale Gardens, pleaded guilty to sending a prohibited article into prison. At Northamptonshire Crown Court on the 5th of January 2021, he was jailed for 2 years. Detective Inspector Jim Hegg says 4 bottles arrived at the prison and they looked innocuous enough. They were branded bottles and had a yellow liquid inside. There was a pineapple and zest soap. When we looked inside though, it was a runnier consistence and it smelt of chemicals. They did more tests and found that it was actually the drug spice. So that's just a little example of the ways that people do get illicit contraband into prison. Is sometimes through the postal system, sometimes they just send it in normal everyday looking items, and some things get through and some things don't. In some other news from Lancashire, 2 murderers were attacked in prison and they've both been left fearing for their safety. Cole Corson and Connor Jenkinson were both convicted of different murders this month and later attacked in separate incidents by different inmates inmates wielding blades. One of the attacks took place in a Lancashire jail where prisoners were said to be apathetic to those from Liverpool. In murder trials that concluded in December, Coulson and Jenkinson, both from Merseyside, hoped the jurors would find them innocent. However, they found them guilty following hours of deliberation. Coulson was one of 4 men convicted of the murder of Stephen Maguire, who was shot dead in March. The 28-year-old of Melling was jailed for a minimum of 33 years. Judge David Aubrey said he was satisfied the drug dealer was one of 2 men who was likely to have pulled the trigger and killed Mr. Maguire. Judge Aubrey said that he was caught with CCTV footage that showed 2 men armed with a gun and a crowbar raiding flats in Stourport 1 week before the murder. He told Coulson and 21-year-old Ryan Smith, said to have been the other male on the CCTV and was also found guilty of murder, that whichever one of you pulled the trigger, I have come to the conclusion that both of you were responsible. Jurors in the case were not told of the attack on Coulson. Liverpool Crown Court were made aware of the incident when his barrister applied to be kept at outcourse while the trial took place. The attacker had been moved to Walton Jail after leaving Coulson with a scar on his cheek that is visible in his mugshot. Coulson and Smith, cellmates in Old Course, sought to remain there rather than stay at Walton, like their co-accused, over concerns for their safety. Jenkinson was convicted of the murder of 48-year-old Robert Beattie, who was doused in petrol and set alight on a doorstep in his Skelmersdale home. The 25-year-old from Shoebrook will be handed a life sentence this month and was also found guilty of arson and intent to endanger life in relation to the firebombing of a separate home in the town on the same night. The attacks were carried out by Jenkinson and his drug gang associates in a bid to deter disloyalty among the customer base in the area. 2 other men from Liverpool were found guilty of manslaughter and arson and endangering life. Jurors in the case were unaware of what had happened of the attack in prison that took place at HMP Preston on May the 1st. His barrister applied for him to be moved to a Merseyside jail rather than be left in Preston, and he'd been moved to Durham after the attack. During the early stages of the trial, Mr. Berry said inmates at HMP Preston did not like people from Liverpool. So I thought that was an interesting story and shows definitely the consequences of them actions. And in the final story in this episode, we'll go to Scotland, where we talk about the Daniels crime clan, as the police described them. They are part of a long-going feud, the Daniels and Loynes family. And a man that is associated to the family and described as a hitman for them was attacked in jail on Christmas Eve. Raymond Anderson needed medical attention after the incident in the high-security HMP Shots in Lanarkshire. The 58-year-old suffered facial injuries in the targeted attack that happened while inmates were allowed out of their cells on Thursday afternoon. It is understood that he suffered a broken nose and was told to shut up and wipe your face by the attacker, who cannot be named for legal reasons. Anderson is serving 30 years for his role in a triple gangland shooting that left 1 man dead. Michael Loynes was killed as Anderson tried to assassinate Stephen Loynes in December of 2006. The crime boss was shot in the leg, and Robert Pickett, who suffered injuries in the attack in Lamhill, Glasgow. And Anderson and his co-accused James MacDonald were both sentenced to 35 years in 2008. This was reduced to 30 on appeal. The bodybuilder said he did not know who hired him and that he was underpaid by the Daniel family as well. And the Daniel and Loynes family have been at war for 20 years in Scotland. A source said that Anderson's life in prison is miserable. He knows he's a constant target and has tried to convince the Loynes gang that he was conned by the Daniels and just wants to serve his sentence in peace, but he knows there's no chance of that ever happening. In a previous prison attacks, he was stabbed in the neck, face and scalp, and also attacked in 2011 as well. The Scottish Prison Service said we do not comment on individual attacks. So I really want to hear what people have to say on the stories featured in this episode. Please don't forget to follow us online as well. You can @ us in stories and we will repost them on our social medias. Please don't forget to turn on your notifications as well, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.